So the concrete practices for the Fourth Mindfulness Training. The first one is right thinking. If we want to practice right speech, we must practice right thinking, because sooner or later we'll inevitably speak and act according to our thoughts. And if you find yourself thinking negatively about another person, it's encouraged to try and think positively, reflecting on the benefits that that person has conferred on your life. And to give your attention over to really reflecting on the difficulties and hardships that that person has faced in their life and what has formed them in being the way that they are. And if you need help from a third person to think positively, go to someone who is able to listen without colluding with your negativity. Speak with someone who can help you understand the other person's suffering. And in this whole process of right thinking, it's really important to own our feelings that we have and to avoid using words designed to draw another person into siding with us against someone. And that whole tendency that our minds can have leads us into gossip. And avoiding gossip is the second one of the second one of the concrete practices. And Thich Nhat Hanh speaks about how much gossip does in the way of damage. And gossiping arises from and serves to reinforce the mental poisons of attachment, aversion, ignorance, pride, and jealousy. And in our practice, we are asked to not listen to or participate in gossip. We are encouraged to avoid speaking negatively about anyone behind their back. And when we do speak about another person, our practice is to be mindful and to make sure that our intent is to help that person through their suffering or their difficulties. And if we do have a tendency to indulge in gossip, we can work to break that habit by expressing regret to another person every time that we make the mistake of speaking unbeneficially behind someone's back. And I found that pretty powerful, to either let the person know or let somebody that you really trust know that you've done that and just straighten it out. And so part of this practice is to observe how we feel in our body when we are speaking, to know whether we are entering into a form of gossip or not. And speaking about another person from a place of care feels really different from how when we're speaking unbeneficially about someone. And what I've observed about what could fall into the category of gossip is that it usually involves some sort of self-aggrandizement, our sense of superiority, like we know something that other people don't know about someone. Anyway, I think most of us know about gossip, but there are subtleties and there's times that we get drawn into it. And so it's just being mindful of that and making whatever amends we need. And then the third concrete practice is the 6 mantras that Thich Nhat Hanh gave. And he felt that they were very essential to practicing loving speech, and that they're easy to practice. And when children came to Plum Village, they would have the children learn these mantras and do calligraphy and drawings so that they would go home with them. And I just think about how beautiful that is, that the children would have these too. And And sometimes a mantra is spoken out loud to the other person, but sometimes we just speak it to ourselves to remind us to be in the right place. And they have a power to change a situation when they're recited with concentration and insight. And so the first mantra that he gave, and these can be modified. So once you get a feeling for how they work, you can change the words to fit your situation. But the first one that he gives is, I am here for you. And this mantra serves to remind us to be present with who we are with and cultivate the joy of connection. And there are so many ways these days that we become preoccupied and remain in separation, even when we're sitting right next to somebody. And so remembering to recite this, I am here for you, reminds us to be present. And if we say it out loud, it can say a whole lot in a few words. It says, I care about you. I enjoy being with you in your presence. And being present in this way helps the other person to feel supported and happy. So it can also contradict any time that we start to feel like we don't want to be with somebody that we're with, or that we just need to move on, or there's something else on our minds. We can come back to being present by saying, I am here for you. And the second one is, I know you are there and I am very happy. And to this one, Thich Nhat Hanh said, sometimes we forget about impermanence. We think our loved one will be with us forever, and we forget how precious their presence is in the moment. And once we're really there for another person, that person becomes very real. The object of our awareness may not be a person, actually, he says. It could be a magnolia tree or the moon or the winter sky. And when the other person is real, she is a wonderful manifestation of life. And we need to let that person know. And it's for both our own happiness and for their happiness to be present with each other. And it could say, I am so glad you are alive and close to me in this moment. So that was the recognition of, I know you are there and I am very happy. And the third mantra he gives is, I feel your pain and I am here for you. And this mantra said aloud lets another know that we are aware that they are hurting and that they aren't alone. And when we say it to ourselves, it helps us to stay focused on being present for them. It can help us be present when we're having trouble being present, to say, I feel your pain and I know you are, and I am here for you. And if we are the cause of another person's pain, when we say this, we are letting them know that we are sensitive to their pain and that we are ready to sit and breathe and be with them and heal whatever it is that we have done to bring up the pain. And Thich Nhat Hanh suggests that if you're able to sit with each other, even when you've caused another person's pain and you've acknowledged it, that it might be nice to go out and have a gentle walk in nature to just revive and refresh the joy of being alive together. And the fourth mantra is, I suffer, please help. And sometimes this asking for help is the most difficult. It takes humility to admit when we have been hurt and that we need help to get through our suffering. And I really like that he ties these two together, that when we're hurt, we're suffering. And so realizing that, we can maybe bypass the blame and just ask for help with our suffering. And often being that vulnerable makes us fear rejection. That's very common. But still, we have to let our loved ones know that when they have hurt us. Otherwise, that hurt can become so great that it can put a separation between us. So he says that the mantra can mean, please be present and listen to what I experienced that hurt me. Please explain why you said or did that. And also acknowledging that it's possible that I am suffering because of wrong perception. And you are the person who can help me gain understanding. And so that is also a big acknowledgement, because in the stories we make in our mind, especially when our feelings do get hurt, sometimes are accurate and sometimes are not accurate. And so giving space for that discussion for clarity is really good. So that mantra is, I suffer, please help. And the fifth mantra he gives is, this is a happy moment. And we have a tendency to forget the happiness that is available in any moment. And by using this mantra, we can remember that happiness is here now. So it's quite a powerful affirmation, is to feel who we're connected with and say, this is a happy moment. And the sixth mantra is, you're partly right. And I found this one very interesting. And this mantra is to help keep us from falling into complexes of inferiority or superiority. And he talks about how we need to receive praise from time to time, but we want to be careful not to become proud because of being praised. So you say to yourself when you receive praise, or you can say it out loud if it felt appropriate, you are partly right. And saying this mantra means, yes, I do have that gift, that talent. But it is not just mine. It was handed down to me by my ancestors. Everyone has talents and gifts of some kind. And then there are the times that we receive criticism. And we all need a certain amount of criticism to make progress in our lives, but it's important that we not get caught in the criticism and become paralyzed by it. So saying the mantra can mean, yes, I do manifest that unfortunate characteristic sometimes, but I am much more than that. This is something I received from my ancestors, and I am in the process of transforming it for them and for me. And I think that's a very beautiful way to look at it, that it's not only ours, that we don't stand and stay in that individuation that separates us from everybody, but we know that we're in a lineage, and through that we manifest both gifts and pieces that we're transforming for the benefit of our lineage. So that phrase is, the sixth one is, you are partly right. And then going to the fourth, but last concrete practice that he gave, he calls it keeping communication open. And this one, I think there's many ways to it. I'm going to just address a couple that he gave, but I was thinking part of our conversation might be if anyone has ways that they keep communication open and flowing that they want to share, that would be good too. So he's talking about appreciation again. So all of these mantras are tied into, all these concrete practices are tied into each other. And for appreciation, Thich Nhat Hanh said, we are all flowers in the garden of humanity, and flowers need water to stand up straight and flourish. And words of appreciation for each other are like water. Whenever someone does something to make you happy, you can tell them that they have made you happy. And this is like watering their life force. And then he spoke about being able to express regret for saying and doing unskillful things, which also helps keep communication open. Acknowledgement and an apology can relieve a great deal of suffering in another person. And once you realize that you may have said or done something to make another suffer, find a way to apologize as soon as possible. And when we express regret, we're encouraged to do it unconditionally, to not make excuses for why we committed the mistake, but just say, I wasn't mindful at the time, and I know that kind of language can be hurtful. Please forgive me. I don't want to say such things in the future. So what he's speaking about there is not becoming terribly defensive when we do it and trying to defend ourselves, but just give a very pure apology and state your intention, that you don't want to do it again. And I will end by saying that when someone apologizes to us, it's always good to accept it and offer understanding and forgiveness in return.